Seems like Trump is trying to, trying to make friends inside the Democratic machine, trying to make some Democrat friends, because he's the Trump admin, is moving to completely dismiss all the charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams. Which this is probably prudent of Trump to try. I mean, not necessarily dismissing charges of everybody, especially if there's actually teeth to this. If he really did, like, if Eric Adams really is corrupt, but it is prudent of him probably to try to build alliances inside the Democratic Party. It's probably a good thing. And the interesting thing about the charges that kind of surrounded Eric Adams is they really didn't come until after he started like speaking out against like the DNC establishment, like especially whenever the immigration thing, the illegal migrants and all that stuff, when they started getting shipped into New York, and there was that famous video that I covered on the podcast a long time ago of him saying that like what's coming, the wave of migrants of and illegals and stuff. Or he said like will destroy New York City. So yeah. But anyway, shout out to Fox News. Very low energy today. I apologize. This is not a story that I'm like super like excited about. It's just kind of like this seems like the most interesting Trump story that I've seen today. So, no, like I said, this is probably a good move on Trump's end if he's gonna like try to expand his base of influences to get at least a few Democrats to owe him favors. But yeah, like I said, shout out to Fox News. Brooke Singman, David Spunt, and Jake Gibson. Again, what is up with like these articles needing 3 people to write them? I just I don't know why that seems to be becoming more and more common, or maybe it was always common and I was just never paying attention. The Justice Department is moving to dismiss federal charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams, Fox News has learned. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove sent a letter to the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York on Monday, instructing SDNY to drop the federal case against Adams and dismiss it without prejudice. For any of you that don't know, whenever a case gets dropped without prejudice, that means they can't pick it back up. That means that like it's like if they drop a case with prejudice, that means that they can, like, if new evidence comes to light later on, they can bring the charges back up. But if they drop this without prejudice, they're basically saying, okay, we're not going to come after you for this anymore. Adams was indicted in September on charges including bribery, soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals, wire fraud, and conspiracy. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Fox News obtained a memo Bove penned to the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York titled "Dismissal Without Prejudice of Prosecution of Mayor Eric Adams." The memo cites President Donald Trump's executive order combating the weaponization of law enforcement and federal immigration policy. Yeah, no, it's fucking. Can we zoom in on this? Yes, we can, but then we can't see, when we can't read half of it. No, no, there it is. Well, hell, there's quotations down here. You are directed, as authorized by the Attorney General, to dismiss pending charges in the United States v. Adams as soon as predictable, or as soon as practicable. Practicable. I've never seen that before. Um, anyway, you are directed, as authorized by the Attorney General, to dismiss the pending charges in the United States v. Adams as soon as practicable, subject to the following conditions: the defendant must agree in writing to dismissal without prejudice. The defendant must agree in writing that he is not a prevailing party under the Hyde Amendment, and the matter shall be reviewed by the confirmed U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York following the November 2025 mayoral election based on consideration of all relevant factors, Bove wrote in a memo. Quote, the Justice Department has reached this conclusion without assessing the strength of the evidence or the legal theories on which the case is based, which are issues on which we defer to the U.S. Attorney's Office at this time, Bove continued. Moreover, as I said during our recent meetings, this directive in no way calls into question the integrity and efforts of the line prosecutors responsible for the case or your efforts in leading those prosecutors in connection with a matter you inherited. Bove added, quote, however, the Justice Department has determined that dismissal subject to the above described conditions is necessary for two independent reasons. Bove also said that the timing of the charges and more recent public actions by the former U.S. attorney responsible for initiating the case have threatened the integrity of the proceedings, including by increasing prejudicial pretrial publicity that risks impacting potential witnesses and the jury pool. Basically, they're saying that like they made such a massive stink about this in the news that they might have prejudiced the jury, which would make it really hard to get like a fair trial. Quote, it cannot be ignored that Mayor Adams criticized the prior administration's immigration policies before the charges were filed, and the former U.S. attorney's public actions created appearances of impropriety that implicate the concerns raised in the Attorney General's February 5th, 2025 memorandum regarding, quote, restoring the integrity and credibility of the Department of Justice, as well as in Executive Order 14147 entitled Ending Weaponization of the Federal Government, Bove wrote. So yeah, this seems like again, it seems to be that Trump kind of sees a bit of what happened to him, in what's happening to Eric Adams. So like, it's like, okay, we're both New Yorkers, you know, we both have some opinions about the current establishment that the current establishment doesn't like, and now they're using lawfare to try to take us down. And again, so like I said, he probably sees a bit of himself in the whole scenario, but also again, ally building. These actions in the underlying case have also improperly interfered with Mayor Adams' campaign in the 2025 mayoral election, he added. Bove also said the pending prosecution has, quote, unduly restricted Mayor Adams' ability to devote full attention and resources to the illegal immigration and violent crime that escalated under the policies of the prior administration. We are particularly concerned about the impact of the prosecution on Mayor Adams' ability to support critical ongoing federal efforts to protect the American people from the disastrous effects of unlawful mass migration and resettlement, Bove wrote, pointing to an executive order signed by the president. Quote, accomplishing the immigration objectives established by President Trump and the Attorney General is every bit as important, if not more so, as the objectives that the prior administration pursued by releasing violent criminals such as Victor Bout, the Merchant of Death, Bove continued. Accordingly, based on these additional concerns that are distinct from the weaponization problems, dismissal without prejudice is also necessary at this time. Bove's memo comes after he and top DOJ officials recently met with lawyers representing Adams at the Justice Department. Adams also met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida before his inauguration last month. Adams suggested in December that he was charged after speaking out against the Biden administration's immigration policies. That's what I said earlier. During a sit-down interview with Fox News' Martha McCallum on the story in December, Adams said, I did not break the law. I am not a crook. Quote, I did nothing wrong. That is how I live my life, and that is how I'm going to continue to live my life. The move to dismiss the charges also comes after Attorney General Pam Bondi last week established the Weaponization Working Group, which will review the activities of all law enforcement agencies over the past 4 years to identify instances of politicized justice. So yeah, like it's not just like people on the ground. It's not just regular people who put the dots together that like Eric Adams, criticizes the Biden administration's immigration policies and then turns around and gets all this shit kind of dumped on him. Like even people inside, like our other political figures saw this too. So this isn't just kind of some crazy conspiracy theory that people. I mean, they're going to call it that, but or at least it seems like it's not. And again, this is also prudent for Trump to build allies that are Democrats. Got to have some allies um, in the other side, on the other side of the aisle. But yeah, no, it seems like the weaponization of justice in this country may be not completely coming to an end. I don't. We will need to keep our expectations in check, but it seems like it's there. The prevalence of this can definitely be reduced, at least as long as Trump is in office, and then assuming that the next presidential candidate, hopefully JD Vance, uh, you know, in 2028, can like kind of pick up this ball and just kind of run with it. But yeah, uh, like the video. If you can't be fucked to read news articles, I will read them for you. If this is the type of thing you want someone to do, because this is basically what I did on the podcast. I would just do it with my co-host, and it would be like 2 hours of us riffing on various things. But anyway, like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow the link, subscribe to the alt channels, come watch the streams when I do them. Follow me on X. Like I said, all the links are down in the description. Uh, yeah, throw me a bone.